In today's video, I'm sharing the full day tour we did with Broome and Around. We set out on a lovely day back in June of this year. There were lots of us packed into the bus, but we didn't feel like we missed a thing. So grab your hat and sunscreen and join us for the full day Broome and Around tour. We started the day with a quick trip from our meeting point to Cable Beach for some yummy breakfast toasted sandwiches. We learnt a little bit about Lord McAlpine and everything he did for the tourism in Broome, and enjoyed some beautiful seaside views. After Cable Beach, we headed south down the peninsula to Ganthian Point. One of the features here is the historical fireplace and chimney that still remains from the original lighthouse keeper's quarters. Nowadays the lighthouse is electric, so there's no need for someone to keep it illuminated. On the walk down to the rocks at Ganthian Point, there were some nests built in the lighthouse. We could hear the babies calling out and the parents sitting just above them. There are dinosaur footprints at Ganthian Point, but you need the perfect tides and conditions to be able to go out to see them, and it's quite slippery and treacherous apparently. But there are some man-made impressions on Ganthian Point that you can have a look and get an idea of. You can also learn more about the dinosaur footprints at the Broome Museum. We climbed the rocks for the best view. There were so many amazing colours and textures in the rocks, and the water was just stunning. We spent a bit of time there before heading back to the bus. We were treated to a lovely morning tea of muffins and water, then made the short trip around to Ganthian Beach. We were so lucky with the weather on the day that we went. Blue skies, gentle breeze, not too hot. What more could you want? Next, we crossed the peninsula and reached the port at Entrance Point. We learnt about the grain silo built here by someone who tried to start a maize crop, but apparently not a single grain has touched the inside of that storage silo. It's instead been used for other exports. We stopped off at the boat ramp to learn a little bit about the pearling industry, in particular the Ntombi pearl lugger and the dangers of the pearling boats. The first part of the tour was very much focused on history and culture, including both the light and the dark in Broome's past. We visited the Japanese cemetery and learnt about their involvement and sacrifice in the pearling industry. And we got the chance to feel the weight of just one of their boots, which the whole suit is incredibly heavy. We also learnt about the old hotels and how the wealth of the men was displayed in their white suits, which of course in Broome get incredibly dirty very quickly. So it was a sign of wealth that they could change their suits multiple times a day, and apparently these were washed in Singapore. Must have better detergent or something. Some of the other dark history we learnt about included blackbirding and the horrific treatment of Indigenous peoples who were enslaved and forced to risk their lives as pearl divers. So a bit of a trigger warning for this part of the tour when the guide talks about the belief that pregnant women were the best divers. There is a beautiful statue in town that represents the sacrifice and horrendous treatment of women who contributed to the pearling industry. After the cultural portion of the tour, our first stop was Wildflower at Town Beach. As the name suggests, they have some amazing native ingredients in their cocktails. We had one of their signature cocktails before heading over to Matzo's for some food and a tasting paddle of their craft brews. After Matzo's, we headed north of Broome and past the airport, which divides the town in half. In an unsuspecting location amongst the more industrial area of Broome is the Moontide Distillery, which is famous for their pearl meat gin. If you've seen my What I've Been Up To video, you would have seen this clip of me trying an oyster for the first time, which did not go so well for either of us. You'll know I mean it when I say it doesn't taste like oyster, and it's actually pretty good. We enjoyed a luxurious cheese board and some time in the shade before making our way over to the Wharf Bar for another cocktail. Our last stop brought us to where we started the day, back at Cable Beach. The Xander's restaurant served us some delicious mango daiquiris with hot chips while we enjoyed a beautiful smoky sunset. After we finished our drinks, we headed down to the beach to get some group photos and selfies before settling in to watch the spectacular colours of the Cable Beach sunset. Pro tip, if you are going to watch the sunset while you're in Broome, don't leave as soon as the sun goes below the horizon. Sometimes the best colours come afterwards. So there you have it. That was the Broome And Around full day tour. You'd be surprised how quickly the day goes. We visited some lovely places and learnt some amazing history that you'd otherwise not know even exists. We were looked after so well by our guide Gabby, and the food and drink we were treated to everywhere we went was delicious. So if you're in Broome and you want to experience a whirlwind tour with a lot of interesting information and visiting some of the best spots, jump on one of these tours. We had an absolute blast, and I hope you enjoyed this little snapshot. Let me know if you've been on one of these tours and if you had a favourite cocktail along the way. Alrighty, you know the drill. Like a video to feed the creator for a day, subscribe to support them forever. Until next time, keep adventuring. We had one of their signature which is famous for their pearl meat gin. Excuse me.